Hey, how are you today? Welcome to the next segment of the Next Evolution Athletics online Q&A series. Today I've got two questions for you from my clients today, and they're really interesting questions. One was asked to me about 2 weeks ago, and I never really got around to answering it because I answered a text and I thought that was kind of enough, but I want to elaborate on it a little bit more. So I'm going to read the question. The first one is going to be on measuring food, and the second one is going to be on kind of like what we call the carnivore diet or the protein sparing diet that came up. Okay, so, all right, I'm getting better at cooking healthy meal plans and stuff, and I've been reading a bit about weight of ground beef or any meat cooked versus raw. And I see the weight on the labels are more raw, and if you cook it, the measurement you may get more than the labels, and the food loses water content, so it's lighter, but at the same time, the nutritional data stays the same. Okay, so here's what we understand. When I write a meal plan out, I write on cooked meat, okay? I don't write on frozen, because what happens with frozen meat is that there's water in the chicken breast or beef. Now, if there's water in the chicken breast or beef, when you cook it, it actually evaporates and it weighs less. Therefore, you're losing weight. You're not losing nutritional value. That's not true. You're using some nutritional value, but not as much. Okay. So now things like cooking, like say a fattier meat like beef. So if you're cooking like a lean ground beef, when you cook it, the fat will melt or liquefy and then run into the pan, and then you usually strain it to get the fat out. So you're losing some nutritional content and some caloric content just from the lack of extra fat. So like things like chicken, which is a leaner meat, turkey, which is a leaner meat, when you cook it, you generally don't lose too much fat. Maybe if you're cooking the dark meat and the wings and stuff like that and the ribs, but not often from the chicken breast. From a lean ground beef, you're losing a little bit of fat content. From extra lean, you're still losing a little bit of fat content. So you are losing some of the caloric density and some of the fat content from some of the meats. So you have to understand when you're measuring your food for your meal plan, measure cooked meat. That's the way to do it. Now, the second question. The second question is an interesting one. It's been more common in recent years, and there are a lot of people going for and against it and how it fixes all this stuff. It's called the carnivore diet. Now, the carnivore diet is essentially a diet where you just eat meat. It's like the anti-vegan diet. Like you couldn't find a diet less vegan if you tried. You just eat meat. And people say, oh, I helped my gut, cured all these issues, reduced my body fat content. There are a lot of benefits to it. Now, there's also a lot of issues that come along with it. So let's address them one at a time. First, it helped with my stomach issues. Okay, so usually what happens when you have a sensitivity to a food that you continue to eat, you get stomach issues or some other kind of issues like eczema or dry skin or a ton of different stuff. It just depends on how your body reacts to it. If you remove those from your diet for a period of time, generally you clear everything up and everything goes back to normal. This could take a month, it could take 2 months, it could take 6 months, it could take forever. So for example, for me, for the longest time I had a problem with gluten. And every time I would eat gluten, I would get bloated, gassy, I'd feel really lethargic. It just wouldn't really sit well with me. So over a period of like 5 or 6 years, I've removed the bulk of the gluten from my diet and just took things out for first week or two, see how I felt pretty good. Then I put it back in, felt bad, took it back out. Then I waited 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks, and I just kind of added and titrated it up. So I went a couple of years without really having gluten. Now I put it a little bit back into my diet. It doesn't affect me. I don't get bloated. I don't get tired. I don't get nauseous. I don't get those gassy feelings. So when you remove a sensitivity for a period of time and allow your body to heal, it gets better. It's really just that simple. Now, some people may never have the ability to have that again. Some people don't. People that are lactose intolerant generally can't tolerate lactose, and no matter what they do, them and dairy just don't get along. Problem solved. So on the sensitivity issue, it does make a difference. On the more energy, it could be because your body's not spending all the time trying to repair itself from eating all those sensitivities that are causing a lot of issues. So you'll probably have more energy doing it. What else was there? There was improving the body composition. Okay, this is a big one. What you have to understand, if you have a carnivore diet and you lean out, it is because you are in a caloric deficit. It's not magic. It's not keto. It's not it's not veganism. It's not. You're in a caloric deficit. When you're in a caloric deficit, you'll lose weight. Now here's the kind of the catch-22. Okay, with the carnivore diet, you just eat meat. That's it. Okay, so if you eat just meat in a caloric deficit, your body will go into a protein sparing mode, for lack of a better term. So say, for example, you need to maintain your body weight at 2,500 calories a day, but to be in a deficit, you're at 2,200 calories a day. Well, just being in a deficit of 2,200 calories will allow you to lose body fat. Now, you'll maintain muscle mass because any energy that you're getting that you need will be from protein, because the process of gluconeogenesis, where it will take protein and convert it into glucose for you to utilize as energy. Now, here's the catch-22. Because you have more protein than you need and using whatever excess is for energy, you have still a lot left over to meet your basal minimum requirements or your optimal requirements if you're an athlete to maintain muscle mass. So you have the ability to maintain muscle mass while being in a deficit. But it's not a magic thing. If you're in a caloric deficit, you'll lose weight, period. Now, if you need 2,500 calories and you're eating 3,500 calories or 3,000 calories, you're going to gain weight and there will be some fat because it's more than you need, so your body will store it. That's just how it works. So yes, if you're in a caloric deficit and you're on a high protein diet, like a carnivore diet or a protein sparing diet, you will maintain your muscle mass and lose body fat. Now, that being said, I don't really prescribe to the carnivore diet because it's an extreme end of the spectrum. And I've learned over the years that the farther on the extreme end of the spectrums I go, generally the harder the rebound is. So what you have to understand, there's a lot of negative effects that will come with this if you continue to do this for a long term. You'll probably damage your gut biome. Well, I won't say damage the bad word. You'll probably adjust your gut biome, which will probably not help you very much in the long run. You're limiting the ability for you to consume certain foods, and your gut biome will change if you continue this for a long period of time. A few weeks, maybe a month, not a big deal. I'm sure it'll help you with a lot of things, like say if you're pre-diabetic, it'll help bring your sugars down and kind of level you out. It'll help you lose some excess body fat. If you're in a deficit, no big deal. But if you continue to do it for a long period of time, I can see it causing a lot of issues with your gut biome and your digestion. And when you do that, you compromise your immune system and then you go down the road, that kind of stuff. So those are the two questions I got for the last week. I hope you find those helpful. If you like what you see, if you enjoy what you hear, please like and subscribe. We got more stuff coming your way. Have a great day and keep getting your strong on.